Hey everyone, welcome back to another video talking about new construction. This is the second video of the 4-part series, and we are going to discuss today what a spec home is. This is really important if you do not have a lot of time to build. And then also I have compiled a list here. I typically like to try to think of things that you probably aren't thinking of when you're at the model home, because the model home is gorgeous, it's stunning. You're probably focused on the floor plan, but not thinking of a couple other items that I think are very important. So I'm just going to list some of them on here. But with me as your real estate agent, I am there with you and can ask all of the questions. So first, before we get into it, let's talk about spec homes. So this is where the builder purchases the lot, they pick the floor plan, and then they also pick out all of the customizations, the flooring, the paint colors, the type of faucet, stove, the hardware, where everything's going to be, the lights, the light switches, every little detail they're picking out. So this might be a good option for you because a lot of times these properties are already completed, or they are going to be completed within a month, 2 months, 3 months. So if you aren't able to build with them, let's say it's a 10-month process, but they have this home coming up that will be ready within your timeline, it might be a good fit. Now, keep in mind, you aren't able to pick the lot, you're not able to pick the floor plan or any of the customizations, but you are educated on what those options are ahead of time. So we can even take those samples, go to the design center, get a visual look of them, but they always have it on their computer there at the office for you to just see, like, okay, do I like these options that they picked out, or are they so horrible? I will say what I'll typically see is people seem open to their options, but not if they're like tan cabinets or tan beige paint color all around, because everybody wants the whites. They want the grays right now. So you'll be educated on what those options are ahead of time. Okay, so some things to keep in mind when you are purchasing new construction is, let's talk about the home inspection, because this is huge. Now, it's up to you whether or not you want to do a home inspection, unless you're doing a VA loan. A lot of times clients think, oh, the house is going to be perfect because it's brand new, it's new construction. But just keep in mind that it's also man-made, and as humans we make mistakes. There are so many people, there's so many contractors coming to this home, and mistakes are going to happen. So a lot of times we are able to do several inspections throughout the entire process. The first one being the pre-drywall. So we typically have the inspector go in and make sure that everything is good before they put up the walls. So like the plumbing and electrical lines, the foundation, we're just making sure everything's good before we put up the walls, and then we can't see anymore. Little side pro tip, make sure that you take photos, that you take videos of the studs before they put the pre-drywall up, because you never know when you might want to know, like, what's behind the walls, where is that stud located. It's just good to have ahead of time. So home inspection, you're going to want to do the pre-drywall home inspection. And then once we get that inspection done, I promise you, I have never had a perfect home inspection completed. But what we can do is we'll get that report and we turn it into the builder, and they fix all of those items for us. Now, let's say there were 5 to 10 items on there, and they say, okay, yeah, we fixed them. Well, I'm not a home inspector. You likely aren't either. So we want to get a professional in there to go back and re-inspect those items to make sure before they proceed to the next step of putting up the drywall, right? And then typically also with new construction, there is a pre-drywall walkthrough where you'll go through and make sure everything looks good, and they'll give you a tour and all those things. So that's the first phase of the home inspection. And then you will do a final home inspection. So right before they're about to wrap up the property, it's usually, I want to say 2 weeks before closing, 2 or 3 weeks, the inspector goes in there. Now, although the house probably isn't going to be completely done, but very, very close. It's like last minute cosmetic things. But the home inspector goes in there about 2 weeks before closing, and they go through every single nook and cranny of that home. And like I said, I've never had a perfect home inspection. This is such a huge, huge investment for you. And although nothing is perfect, we want to get it as close to as humanly possible as perfect can get. We want to make sure that this home is in very, very good condition for you, so you don't have any long-term issues with the home, especially costly issues. So the home inspector goes out there, they send us the report, we turn that into the builder right away, and they fix every single item on this report. And then just like the pre-drywall inspection, after the builder says, okay, items are done, we hire the home inspector to go back and re-inspect those items and make sure that we are good and we can move forward. But it is an expense, right? These costs range from the pre-drywall to the final, and then also there's an expense to have the home inspector to come back out and re-inspect those items, which if you need any quotes at any time, my transaction coordinator can get those over to you. I also have 3 preferred partners that I work with on a daily basis. They also specialize in new construction. They all have ranges and prices. So if you want quotes from any of them or anyone you prefer, you can use whoever you want, we can get that over to you. Moving on, here are some things to keep in mind with new construction. You want to ask them, if there's any structural changes that you want to make. Let's say you want to raise the ceiling, you want them to be higher. Everyone loves really high ceilings, or you want to take down a wall or try to restructure things. Ask the builder if that's even an option for them, because some of them do not offer any customizations, and the way the floor plan is the way it is, but some do. So if that's something that you're thinking about, let's ask if it is an option. And then we'll also want to know the pricing on that, because those types of things can be costly, and we want to make sure that you are as educated as possible. So I'm going to list some questions to ask when you are touring these new construction homes. If I'm there with you, I am taking notes and asking all these questions. I'll share some of them with you here in this video, but I don't want to list all of them because it's just gonna be a super long video of me ranting and listing these things. But a couple of them are floor plugs. You might not think that it's necessary, but I actually have one, and I just think it's so amazing and genius. It's been really, really helpful. So something to think about, seeing if it is even an option within that builder. Adding in additional windows. Everyone loves natural light. So when you're going through these model homes, I think it's important to turn the lights off and see how much natural light is coming in, if that's something that's important to you. And then additional recessed lighting. So sometimes people, there's 4 lights in a room, and sometimes people want to add more. So that's something to think about. Electrical plugs and ceiling fan pre-wired interior and exterior, asking if that is done with the build. Light switches. So usually around the time that you are going under contract, shortly after, you are meeting with the project manager to go over all the electrical things in the house, and you will go through each room. You'll see how many light switches are included with each room, but you can also sometimes, a good question to ask, if you want to move those lights, see if that's possible, or if you can add any additional light switches. The same thing goes for plugs. So they'll usually allot you a certain amount in a room, especially the garage is a good area to concentrate. Sometimes you can switch out where they're located, and then if you want to add more, which sometimes people add more in the garage and then the patio exterior areas of the home. How tall are the doors? That's a good question to ask. And I've seen a lot in new construction, the extended doors, which just look so beautiful. If that's something you're thinking about, be sure to ask them that ahead of time. You can talk about if an alarm system is important to you, asking if the home comes pre-wired for this. one thing that's so popular is double oven. So people who have a chef in the family, they find this very, very important. So that's a good thing to ask. A couple more things to mention, asking what is included with the home as far as the washer and dryer, the fridge, gutters, blinds, sprinkler, garage door opener. And then also when you're going through the model home, I always am asking them with every little nook and cranny, because the model home usually has all the bells and whistles, right? This is what they used, I feel like, to try to entice you into new construction. But a lot of times those things that you are loving and desiring, that they are not included with your home. So I will go through, and as we're in each room, I'm asking them, like, is this included with this? Is that included? It kind of seems a little bit excessive, but I always want my clients to be as educated as possible. Okay, moving on. Like I said, I'm not going to rant about the entire list of things that I ask, but with me as your realtor there, I take care of all the things. All right, that wraps up the second video of the 4-part new construction series. I hope it's been super helpful for you. What you can look forward to in the next one is we're going to talk about, or within the next 2, we'll be discussing the design center, selecting your options, what that cost looks like, and what that experience looks like. Also, a couple more questions to ask about the actual community in general. We'll discuss those. And preparing to close. We will discuss that entire process. All right, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.